which you see we have fairly good infrastructure, but also on very good faculty and the teaching learning processes. So we have people like Professor Harish Kothari here, my colleagues Pradosh, I have Professor Gautam Shukla, Kishore, Jaideep and Ambika here, who are part of the faculty taking various subjects here. We really at Unitedworld believe in open economy, so there is an emphasis to try and orient the students towards globalization and the coming up challenges in this field. Coming to this conference here, as Professor Chokshi pointed out when we met, he said that we should have a conference. We also at Unitedworld do believe in having good interaction with the academia as a whole, not just teaching students. So as part of this exercise, we thought this would be a good opportunity to meet more people from the academic world. So we very gladly offered not only this premises, but offered that we will support the whole conference. He insisted that Professor Nigvekar, that was his first choice as the speaker. And I was very comfortable because with Professor Nigvekar, I have had a fairly old association. I must mention to you that in ISRO, I was responsible for use of satellites for education. And I was also the project director for EduSat, the educational satellite, through which we set up networks almost in all universities all over the country. But not only that, even much before that, we were associated, and Professor Nigvekar and myself jointly, in setting up various EMRCs in the country. We have one EMRC in Gujarat University. We set up one in Pune University when he was there, and we set up at various other places. So that's how use of ICT in education was my field, and that is one field which is also dear to Professor Nigvekar, and that is how we had the association. So I was comfortable that he will come, and when I first called him, he agreed, but then we had tried to fix Saturday, but he had lots of difficulties in coming on Saturdays. But I was keen that we should not miss him, and Professor Chokshi was also very keen. So we preponed it to 3rd to meet his convenience, and he very kindly agreed to come. He is to go to Delhi tomorrow morning, so he's just spending the evening here and going over to there. And he is probably, I think, the most qualified person to talk to us about quality in higher education. He was the founder director of the National Accreditation and Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAC, which he set up and really defined the processes of assessment of quality of educational institutions and the educational processes. He will probably brief us on the latest in this particular thing, as I see assessment and accreditation process. I have been able to keep in touch because I have been in touch with his successors at NAC, and we have some idea about the processes of accreditation and this thing. At the same time, Professor Chokshi was keen that all of you are going to receive a lot of money for the 6th Pay Commission, as he said. Fortunately, I have received it already. So, and I have done whatever tax planning was to be done. But Professor Sunil Talati, he thought we should keep something which will interest the principals and also be of personal benefit. And we are very thankful to Professor Talati, to Shri Talati, for having agreed to come and give this talk here. I must say it's really a great pleasure to have all of you here, and especially to have Shri Talati and Professor Nigvekar, and we can look forward to a very fruitful and enjoyable evening. I take this opportunity to welcome them by offering them a bouquet. I will request Professor Harish Kothari to present one bouquet to Shri Talati, and Mr. Singh to present a bouquet to Professor Nigvekar. Please don't think that I am being biased. His name was recommended by Professor Chokshi only. Thank you so much. I think now we'll request Professor Kothari.
Thank you, sir. Now I request C.A. Sunil Talati, sir, to give address to the gathering.
Chief guest, Mr. Nigwekar, Professor Bhatia, President of Principal Association and my dear friend C.A. Saurabh Choksi, C.A. Kothari, and respected principals. It's a matter of great pleasure for me to be here. I was really wondering, because all throughout my lifetime I had been listening to principals. I had never an occasion to see that, yes, I will get an opportunity where I'll be speaking and honorable principals will be listening. So I must convey my thanks to the organizers of Unitedworld, that yes. And I was just telling to the press people also that all throughout my life, maybe my parents have taught me or our philosophy, Hindu philosophy said so. And I really mean it, and I've tried to inculcate that habit even in my children. That yes, after Matru Devo Bhava and Pitru Devo Bhava, the third Devas are Acharya Devo Bhava. And for us, yes, we always respect you. And I have that habit, and even now if I meet any of my past teacher or principal, I always touch down his feet. So that is the respect you are carrying, not only in my heart, but in every student that you teach during your lifetime. And therefore, it's very important that yes, for such a hard work that you do all throughout your life, one, for the tremendous respect that you carry in the society, two, and the time and devotion that you give during your lifetime, sometimes sacrificing the family life and personal life also, you should be properly rewarded. And therefore, the old philosophy that yes, the principal or the teacher or the acharya should teach not for the financial reward was an element of past. And I don't feel anything is wrong if a person who is contributing maximum to the society by way of teaching and producing best of the student, why should not be rewarded the best? I'm really happy. I was talking to Saurabh that now your salary has been increased and increased substantially. Most of you will be now getting not less than 70 to 75,000 per month. Even chartered accountants now do not earn that much. So it's really a good salary or good remuneration. But let me start straight away to the topic that yes, there are issues when it comes to tax planning for salaried employees. And India, for that matter, is not well placed when it comes to the salaried employees. For a businessman or a professional or an industries, there are substantial deductions every year. And now, as I've been saying in my budget speech, more than 45 countries in the world have higher rate of taxation than what we have today. 1,60,000 to 5 lakh only 10%, 5 lakhs to 8 lakh only 20%, above 8 lakhs only 30%. And for lady employees, that 160 is exempted up to 190. Now, if this is the tax structure, why should not one willingly pay? The question is that yes, income tax is the consequences of living in a democratic country. Those who have must contribute for those who are destitute, poor people, giving in turn to those who do not have. But to what extent and what should be the appropriate element? And there is a fundamental principle on income tax which we have said that not a penny more should be paid than what is legitimately due from a taxpayer, and not a penny less should be paid than what is honestly payable by the recipient of the income. So these two concepts should be kept in mind. Now, therefore, let me start with basic fundamentals that yes, so far as the salaried employees are concerned, now there are not much left for tax planning. So if you say, I can sit down in 2 minutes saying all the best, now you have to pay the tax as per this slab, that much is fine and nothing more. But then there are allowances which are again, I don't know if Mr. Saurabh Choksi can take lead and see that those kind of allowances are made available to principals and teaching community. They can be made available to various extent tax free. House rent allowance is the one such deductions. I don't know whether HRA is available to principals or not. But if HRA is available, I would say not most of you, but all of you must get the benefit of that. Now, whether you have your own house, yeah, that's what I'm saying, I'm coming to that. So now if you have your own house or you don't have, those who have already own house have still chances to see that you cease to be the owner of the house and you pay the rent. You have an option to pay to your wife, officially wedded wife, and see that yes, that the income is made available to a lady member also. Now there are costs involved in that. So for all those who have crossed certain age, I would say 50 plus would not be that much advisable. But for all those who are in your initial stage of the being principal and the cost of your house or your marriage,